This video is sponsored by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up with the link in the description will get 1 month of free access to thousands of courses. When I think about the origin of festivals, I think Woodstock 1969. Although there were others before, over 52 years later, this is one that still echoes around us today. I've seen my fair share of clips of the Grateful Dead, Hendrix, and of course the legendary Santana performance of that festival. The festival, dubbed as 3 Days of Peace, would attract over 400,000 people. For reference, the organizers anticipated 50,000 and sold 180,000 advance tickets. Although it was a launchpad for some of the greatest acts of all time, the influx of people left the organizers totally unprepared. There was a lack of food, water, and washrooms. Bands performed hours after they were scheduled. A group tore down fencing so fans could attend for free. 2 people died. And at one point, the main feeder cable supplying the festival with electricity became worn and exposed. With pools of rain drowning Woodstock, it opened the possibility for mass electrocution.
Woodstock 99, a weekend of rock and roll in upstate New York, ended with fire and vandalism late last night.
This is a very dangerous situation. Everyone is trying to get out of here. Yes. I think we're going to go.
As the 3-day concert ended Sunday night, bonfires blazed out of control and looters battled police.
You may say some attributes are rather unavoidable, but Woodstock 94 and 99 were even more of a mess. With various cases of violence and sexual assault, 5,000 were treated in medical tents, and 800 were taken to hospitals. At the end of the final Woodstock 99, Dave Mustaine, singer of Metallica and Megadeth, played Peace Sells, Who's Buying. And only 3 months after this disaster of a festival came the first Coachella lineup. Woodstock 50, which was supposed to be 2 years ago, was postponed time after time, until 2 weeks before the festival it was eventually cancelled. The brand of Woodstock eventually died, dragging the idea of what was previously represented in the festival. In reality, Woodstock 69 was a beautiful moment. It was just not meant to be dragged on to live again. In 2022, festivals are coming back presumably stronger than ever, yet many lack the character of what a music festival once was. So where can we find the line between a gathering that has soul versus a financial venture? Bringing us to the question, are music festivals even worth it? A friend of mine described the idea of a music festival quite beautifully. It's an opportunity to build a community and create a space outside the normal order of society. They serve as a platform for people to connect through a shared experience and transcend the social hierarchies that typically divide people, like class, religion, and politics. He used Burning Man as an example, where people would travel from all over to participate in the festival's elaborate rituals, listen to music and artistic experiences before returning home to their normal lives. The first festival that I went to was in 2016, in Montebello, Quebec. You've likely never heard of it because the town has more cows than permanent residents. That's how Rockfest was born. 17-year-old Alex Martel was sick of traveling elsewhere for concerts, so he brought the acts to him. The year I went, the festival had 100,000 people, about 100 times the population on any other weekend of the year. I enjoyed every minute of it. The acts ranged from Ice Cube to Rise Against. The average concert goer would probably scare the hell out of a senior, but they were some of the nicest people I've ever met. Throughout the weekend, I felt like I belonged to this community, and everyone welcomed each other with open arms. It was quite an experience. Although I went to 3 festivals afterwards, this set the terms for what a good festival can follow. Fast forward to today, there are some great music festivals coming up, but we need to take the term festival with a grain of salt. When I say that, I mean the word festival has now become a buzzword, synonymous with a great time. I think you should consider a festival being worth it over a few core reasons: pricing, lineup, reputation, replication, and aura. 22 years later, Coachella is one of the biggest recurring festivals in North America. For reference, Coachella is $700 for general admission and $1,250 for VIP. Rolling Loud 2021, which was also in the States and has a great hip-hop geared lineup, had half the price of Coachella, while a smaller festival, Smokers Club, is $250 and VIP is $429. Although a single-day festival, the lineup towers over some of the single days at the previous stated festivals. Let's talk about the reality of lineups. The time I saw Frank Ocean in 2017, Daniel Caesar performed, very low on the bill. 5 years later, he's the 5th headliner on day 1 in Coachella. There are still many wonderful acts yet to be supported out there, and many of them play at these smaller festivals. When I went to Osheaga in 2018, Jack Harlow was on the second last line of the first day. Billy and Dua Lipa were both on the second lines on their performing days. Needless to say, these artists progressed a ton, with all of them being able to headline in 2022. In most of these super festivals, you lose the community sense or the niche. This is because they have to appeal to the widest audience possible, or else they'd simply fail. In larger festivals, there also may be a lack of budget towards other acts, or the ones that actually fall under your niche. Another tactic to look out for in festivals is skewing the biggest act on the final day, so people will stay for the weekend and not leave after Friday. Quality over quantity definitely applies to concerts. Just because there are so many acts on the bill that you can barely see the bottom, doesn't mean you'll be able to see them all. This goes the same with absolutely flooded bills on a one-day festival, especially the recently announced When We Were Young festival. Sure, some of your favorite artists will be playing, but you can only be at one stage at a time. The same disorganization that happened at Woodstock 69 happened at Woodstock 94, but even worse. In the present day, we're still seeing the repercussions of venues being underprepared, with the Fire Festival incident as a recent example. But this doesn't mean that you'll have to be scared that every festival will be a complete disaster. But what makes and breaks a festival's reputation from an organizer's standpoint is making sure festival goers have easy access to basic infrastructure, like food, water, shelter, and washrooms. But assuming that most, if not all, massive festivals have these bases covered, what else can destroy a festival's reputation? If we look at a recent case, Astroworld is a tragic example of a failure of planning, management, and coordination. In the planning stages, they did not account for the number of staff and emergency personnel needed to direct and deal with the worst case scenario. In fact, they didn't even have a crowd surge operational plan. The standard ratio at festivals of this size is about 1 medic per 1,000 people. At Astroworld, Paradox had staff and resources in anticipation of 70,000 people, but the actual concert attendance was estimated around 50,000. Although many more broke down fences to come in, the problem at this point came down to mismanagement and the lack of coordinating these resources. The CEO of the paramedic company hired for the festival was quoted saying, "We never came close to running out of equipment and supplies. We could have treated at least double the amount of patients. We never expected in our lives to encounter a situation like that. It was absolutely horrific." Since there was no plan to deal with the crowd surge and get the paramedics where they were needed the most, it meant that organizers could not effectively manage and coordinate their resources that they would have otherwise been able to use, like the firefighters on the site. Firefighters did not have a presence inside the festival grounds, and they were not even given radios to communicate directly with the organizers. Through Astroworld, although they had the resources to manage the influx of people in the festival grounds, the lack of a crowd surge plan simply made these resources impossible to use, resulting in the staff on the ground being completely overwhelmed and unable to effectively control the crowd. Like I stated before, When We Were Young Festival was just announced and is highly anticipated by the organizers Live Nation. Since they were responsible for the Astroworld incident, you can expect that they will overcompensate on these logistical and safety aspects moving forward. Take this in. Chance the Rapper was supposed to headline 14 festivals in 2017. You will be able to see him again. It's like the hilarious fact that Kiss had 5 farewell tours and 4 reunion tours. They're now in their 70s and still have shows lined up in 2022. I can list dozens of artists that have final tours or have retired over the years, just to come back. If this is your deciding factor, you'll likely get a chance to see them again. You can see replication when looking at a dataset of the 8 biggest festivals in 2017, and how much they really are similar to one another, with Governor's Ball having a whopping 73% overlap compared to other festivals, and Bonanza Campout having a mere 21.6% overlap. I took the latter option when Frank Ocean performed in 2017, because no, you won't see Frank Ocean touring for an extended period of time. This conflict can also be resolved through single-day tickets, especially in a lively city where you can enjoy the nightlife for a few nights, while only attending the festival for a single day. When I think of festivals that have a great aura, I think Camp Flog Gnaw, which actually displays a theme, a carnival, and it also has a sense of community. The festival was created by Tyler the Creator, fulfilling his dream of having all of his friends performed at a carnival-themed park. Or on the other hand, Rockfest, the story of a small town kid having his dreams come true, bringing the acts to him. Massive festivals like Coachella would never turn into this extravagant festival if it wasn't for the people that supported it from the beginning. So what music festival is worth it? What I'm telling you here is that the answer isn't always in the biggest and best marketed festival. The corporations organizing these festivals are very smart. They know what you like. It's like how a non-existent festival like Fire looked like the time of your life, all through marketing. Believe it or not, you could be putting money into the same company's pockets by going to many of these festivals. Live Nation owns Governor's Ball, Bonnaroo, Sasquatch, and Lollapalooza, while their competitor AEG owns Coachella and Hangout Fest. If you want advice from one of these kingpins, founder of Sasquatch Fest stated that when you make your purchase decisions or aesthetic critiques only based on top headliners, you get a snapshot view and so much gets missed. Which means the first step in purchasing your next ticket can simply be just looking past the massive headlines. Coachella has turned into a massive photo op, or a status symbol more than anything. The more acts on a bill doesn't equate to a better festival. The festival business has been bigger and better than ever, meaning that your niche is likely performing somewhere. Go support a small organizer's dream, or get the chance to see the next Billie Eilish, Daniel Caesar, or Jack Harlow in an intimate experience before everyone else. So go find your community and connect through the shared experience of music. Now I want to hear from you guys. What festivals have you guys been to? Also, do you have any plan for this summer? Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time guys.